What if I told you that the thing causing you the most pain right now isn't your situation? It's not the relationship. It's not the job. It's not the thing that happened. It's a thought. A thought you've been treating as fact. And here's what makes that so hard to see. You've been thinking it for so long that it doesn't even feel like a thought anymore. It feels like the truth. Joseph Nguyen wrote a book about this. It's short. It's quiet. And if you actually sit with it, it will change the way your mind works. Welcome back to Mindset Mastermind Club. I'm here to take the books that genuinely move people and have a real conversation about what they mean, not a recap, not a summary, but a real honest look at the ideas and what they actually ask of you. Today, we're in Don't Believe Everything You Think by Joseph Nguyen. This one is different from last week. The Mountain is You is about behavior, the patterns we run, the ways we sabotage ourselves. This book goes one level deeper. It goes into the mind itself, into the thoughts that generate everything else. And when central argument is both simple and completely radical, you are not your thoughts, and you don't have to believe them. Let's talk about what that actually means. Most of us live inside our thoughts as if they are reality. Something happens, a thought forms, and almost instantly, we treat that thought as fact. We build on it. We react from it. We make decisions, withdraw from people, spiral into anxiety or anger, all from a story our mind generated in a fraction of a second. Nguyen's position, and this is where the book earns its place, is that thoughts are not truth. They're events. Mental events that arise and pass, like weather. You are not the storm. You are the sky. Now, here's my take on that, because I think this idea gets misused a lot in personal development spaces. Some people hear, you are not your thoughts, and use it to bypass accountability. They dismiss everything their mind produces as meaningless noise, and that's not what this book is saying. What it's saying is that your thoughts need to be examined before they're obeyed, not ignored, examined. Because some of your thoughts are trying to protect you. Some of them are old conditioning that no longer serves you. And some of them are outright lies you've been telling yourself for years. The skill, and it is a skill, is learning to tell the difference. Nguyen draws heavily on a simple idea that all psychological and emotional suffering comes from thinking, not from circumstances, from thinking about circumstances. And I know how that sounds. I know the immediate pushback is, well, some things that happen are genuinely painful. You can't just think your way out of grief or trauma. And you're right, that's not what he's saying. What he's pointing to is the layer of suffering we add on top of what's real, the story we tell ourselves about what something means, the conclusions we draw, the catastrophizing, the replaying, the imagined futures built entirely on fear. Here's an example. Something doesn't go the way you planned. That's a fact. That happened. But then the mind starts. This always happens to me. I knew I'd fail. I'm not good enough for this. What's the point? That second layer, that's the suffering Nguyen is talking about. And that is optional. Not easy to step out of, but optional. My take. The reason this is so hard to apply is that we are deeply attached to our narratives. Our stories about ourselves and the world give us a sense of identity. Letting go of a painful belief can feel like losing a part of yourself, even when that part is hurting you. That's why this work takes courage, not just understanding. One of the most useful distinctions Nguyen makes is between thinking and experiencing. We spend so much of our lives living in our heads, in the past, in the future, in the simulation of scenarios that haven't happened, that we miss the actual moment we're in. And here's the thing about living in your head. The mind has no problem manufacturing suffering. It will generate problems, threats, worst-case scenarios endlessly. That's partly what it's designed to do. But when we're not present, when we're caught in thought, we can't tell the difference between a real threat and an imagined one. Which means you can be completely safe, physically, materially, by every objective measure, and feel terrified. Because your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a real lion and the thought about a lion. Nguyen's answer to this is not a technique or a practice in the traditional sense. It's more of an invitation. Come back to the experience of this moment, not the thought about it, the actual felt experience. What do you see? What do you feel in your body right now? What's actually happening, not what your mind says is happening. That shift from thought to direct experience is where the peace he talks about lives. And I'll be honest with you, I think this is one of the most underrated ideas in all of personal development. Not because it's complex, because it's so simple that most people dismiss it before they actually try it. So, if we're not supposed to believe everything we think, what do we do instead? Gwen doesn't give you a 10-step program. And I respect that. What he gives you is a direction. The direction is stop trying to fix your thinking with more thinking. Most of us, when we feel anxious or stuck or in pain, immediately try to think our way out of it. We analyze, we problem solve, we search for the right reframe. And sometimes that works. But Gwen is pointing to something else. He's suggesting that the exit from painful thinking is not through more thought, it's through presence, through dropping into the body, through stillness. Here's what I'd add to that. This is one of the hardest things to do precisely because our culture rewards thinking. We are praised for being analytical, strategic, always on. Sitting in stillness, not solving, just being, it can feel like doing nothing. But it is not nothing. It is one of the most disciplined things a person can do. And it's a practice. Not something you master once and carry forever. Something you return to daily, sometimes hourly, especially when the noise gets loud. The question is not, how do I stop having painful thoughts? The question is, how quickly can I notice that I've been lost in one? That gap between the thought arising and you identifying with it, that's where your freedom lives. And every time you catch it, that gap gets wider. I want to close with something that sits at the heart of this book, and that I think most people need to hear more than any technique or framework. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them. The part of you that notices you're anxious, that's not anxious. The part of you that watches the anger, that's not angry. The part of you that can observe the spiral is not in the spiral. That awareness has always been there. Steady, clear, untouched by any of it. Joseph Nguyen didn't write a book about managing your mind. He wrote a book about remembering what you are underneath all of it. And underneath all of it, you are okay. You have always been okay. The thoughts were never the truth. They were just thoughts. Take that with you this week. And when the noise starts, just notice. You don't have to fix it. You don't have to fight it. Just notice. That's enough. If this kind of conversation speaks to you, real ideas from real books, no fluff, subscribe and stay close. I put out a new video every week, and I promise you, we're only getting deeper. Like this video if it gave you something to think about or something to stop thinking about. And share it with someone who lives too much in their head. You probably know exactly who that is.